Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're going to do part 2 of what Deku had the red thread of fate, finally. As Zuko pretty much is walking into the gates for Part2, the entrance exam, he doesn't really meet Uraka at this point, but he goes in, takes his seat, sees Bakugo, and they pretty much said hi and be quiet. So that interaction of them talking out loud, it doesn't happen. The same thing does happen is pretty much in canon where Ida stand up mocking on how bad the school looks if they mess up in something on a paper. President Mike pretty much explaining what's going on, and Izuku pretty much sees his thread pointing at someone in the seats, and he had a thought, maybe, yeah, probably, depends on how the days go. And so he had that thought. Ida pretty much sat down, and the rest of it went the same. Everything went on the same on the test, the written test, and they're up to. Now let's get into the physical part, fighting the robots. Zuku's standing there pretty much really focused and is just pretty much stretching out because he knows he's going to be using all his arms and legs for this battle. So he's getting ready, and he knows it's around getting close to that time for everybody to start. So he pretty much looked at the front of the door and started walking to it. At this point, Ida came in, stepped in, and asked him why is he going to go over there and disrupt? Is that the word? Annoy or mess up that chances of that girl over there. And Zuko pretty much looking at him confused. But wait, what girl? And Ida is pointing at that girl up front with the brown hair. And Zuko said, "Oh, did you assume I was going to talk to her? Did you assume that? I didn't notice her until you pointed it out." And Ida kind of takes it back and thought he's lying at this point, but seeing his confused face right there shows that he's not lying. And Ida was about to say something, about to say sorry, and Zuko pretty much tell him, "So you assume the worst in people, right? That's what you're doing right now. Or was it something else and you just didn't want to admit it?" And Ida will say, "Well, no, I just thought you did something, we're going to do something bad." And Zuko said, "Oh, so it's your place to assume what everybody's doing just for that one step, just for you thinking." And then he stopped and said, "Well, since you're the boss, I guess you know the full understanding of this whole situation, right?" And Ida said, "Well, I mean, it's..." And Zuko said, "It's just kidding, man. I understand you're just pretty much stressed out. I'm cool with that. Just next time, don't jump into and jump ahead of everything else, and just wait a little longer. If I did do that, wait until I actually done it, the action, and then you do and come ahead. And then you'll be more of a hero instead of a bully." And he walks off. Zuko was about to pull one of his strings, but he decided not to. It was too early at that point. And he's walking up in front of the gate. He's right beside Uraka at that point. He doesn't ask her name, but he does do something else. He pretty much... Sorry. he pretty much says this out loud. I hope I can get in. I don't know if gonna go in or not. And he's shaking his hands, just loud enough where she can hear it. And she kind of calms down at this point. She's her knowing and that other people are just as nervous as she is, kind of calms her down. So the scene goes on pretty normal. At 3, 2, 1, and everybody runs off. Zuko is actually put out his hands, leaned back, and slingshot himself up towards any robots nearby and start crushing them, one by one. At this point, he's 10% of all, one for all, but he doesn't have the power. So he's that strong by himself without his quirk. Sorry, I'm on bio report. Yeah, that's annoying. Gonna stop it, but my hands were busy on something. So Zuko's pretty much racking up points throughout the whole thing, and then he see a kid see a black line, and he pull himself towards the black line. See a kid pretty much finding a robot, and look like another robot coming back and gonna hit him. So Zuko pretty much intervene, push the kid, and get hit by a robot himself. And used that very force against it. He got pushed back. Well, he got hit, pushed against to another red thread, and the sling and made him jump towards it again, double the power and breaking the robot. The kid said thank you and went on with his day. Zuko was doing this, so he's raking up villain points and hero points. Dang. And Zuko was getting pretty tired and started to turn off his quirk. And Zuko sees how he feels different. He feels like he can do more, but right now it's just, well, he sees like that he can move something, but he can't tell what he's moving. And so he's doing this, but racking up points. And he started feeling shaking. And kids are starting to run away from the center. Running. And that kid with the engines start running as well. And he sees a red thread turning black. And so he pulls slingshot, jump towards the area. And he sees a girl trapped under some rubble. And so Zuko pretty much jump in and take as much stuff away from her and start running with carrying her. Zuko sees the robot and decides to pull out his. It's getting really close, where it's almost over his head, and Zuko pretty much thinks threats room, the red room, and since he's holding Uraraka, she sees the red threads all around her and around him, and threads over the robot and everywhere. She's kind of surprised and kind of freaking out where all these lines coming from. And the robot was stepping down, hit the red thread, touched the red threads, and it stopped moving. Zuko pretty much left his quirk on so long that the robot started not working because it's trying to go forward, but it can't. So all its gears is breaking down. And so Zuko pretty much looked at the robot and said, "Thread trap." And so he'd done it before, but he never really tried on something so big. Let's go back to his training. As he was pretty much throwing away trash, he sees that one of his threads seems so sharp and it looked like it cut through. So he used it. He just dropped something on it, and it pretty much cut through that very table. And so Zuko thought of it and see if he can like cover, making a shield of sorts, but with all the threads right in the area. He can't move them, only when he touch it. So technically they're getting covered. Usually they're around the pile of trash for Zuko can work on it. But now they're straight through everything, pretty much cut into pieces. So that's what's going on. Zuko is doing the thread room and the thread trap. I can't remember my own power move, so it will be like that until I forget. And Zuko and everybody else is seeing this, that the robot just stopped moving. Even this punch that was about to hit him stopped moving right in that second. And the teachers had no idea what's going on, thinking that that's kid's quirk. And Zuko pretty much said, straighten. Pretty much making them straighten out, not curving around the robot. And it slowly does, and it's pretty much showing threads all around him, all around the robot, cutting it into pieces. And it broke down into pieces. Kind of like a sword move, but he didn't do anything. Dang, I really need to go home. Yeah. So at that time, Zuko pretty much got a little tired and just sitting down. And someone gave him a bottle of water and pretty much told him that he did a great job. And asked what did he do. Zuko was about to say something, but someone just rang the bell. That the exam is over, and they are all leaving. The girl was going to ask him to say thank you, but he already left sooner than that. So Zuko pretty much wait for a week, get his letter, and show it to his parents when they come home. And they're both happy for him. They knew that he can do it, but they didn't know how he did. And it started showing videos on what he can do, what he was doing with his in the practical exam. And they're confused on what he did, and Zuko pretty much tells them of what he actually learned from his quirk. So he held both of his parents' hands and showed them the threads and showed them a piece of paper. He put one on top of one thread, drop it, and it cut it cleanly. And Zuko said, well, this is what it does if I want it to do. If I don't, and he does it again with another piece of the paper, it just falls right off. Or go through. Zuko's just telling them how it goes and how it worked. So they're understanding and they're just having a fun time. So the next week passed and Zuko getting into class. I guess I had to stop it here. Mostly because I'm getting really tired and I need to get home. I just clock out of my work and yeah, I live far away from it. Bye. Sorry about this.